It is that time again for another speed reviews, guys. This is a video where I go over everything that I tested in the prior month. For this month, it's everything that I tested in January, and it is a whopping 78 different items. It's really heavy on the single eyeshadows, the single eye products, I guess, in general, and then very heavy on the lip products. So those are my two biggest categories. I do title this video Purchase or Pass Faves and Fails. I like to talk about really what are going to be some of my standout products. I tell you guys why. I do show cutaways of me applying some of my favorite products to my face, and then just cutaways of swatches and up close shots of everything, every product that I talk about just in general. So buckle in, you guys. 78 products. It's probably going to be a longer video. I've already been filming for 2 hours, putting my makeup on and swatching everything. So I'm going to do my best just to give a highlighted overview of each of the products, you guys. Let's get into it. If you guys hear some background noise, my son is downstairs. He is a very loud kid. Very, very loud kid. Both of my kids are very loud. I guess they must take after me because I'm sure my husband tells me I'm loud. So I am starting off with all of the eye products, you guys. So the very first thing that I have is the Kiko Milano Pearly Eye Base. I got this in an advent calendar. It's pearly. It works. It's an eye base. I don't understand the need for a pearly eye base. You can definitely see it pearly on the eyes when you put it on, but it doesn't make my shadows skip. I do feel like it works as an eye base. It locks down the shadows nicely. I just don't know what the purpose is of the pearliness. If you're putting a shadow on top of it, you don't see it. I've even used this with like just toppers and like a liner. Still, you don't really see the pearly base to it. So I'm not really sure what the purpose of making a pearly eye base is other than just being pretty. So this is kind of makeup graveyard for me. I'll probably use this product up because it works nicely as an eye base, but the pearly part doesn't add anything for me personally. Next up, I have two of the Chroma Luxe eyeshadows from Pat McGrath. These were a re-release and possibly an extension in the shades. So the coppery one is Copper Siren. The purple one that I'm wearing on my eyes is Midnight Temptress. I did do a dedicated video on these. They do come with a really thick sticker on the top, which I said was pretty cheap, especially because these retail for $36 a piece. They do come with a stopper in the inside. They do have a slight alcohol-y scent to them. They kind of stink. The purple one especially, but they are a beautiful formula on the eyes. They're really intense, they're really pigmented. The best thing about them, I think, is how easy they are to blend out the edges. That is such a big deal. I think with singles, like, can you build them up? Can you also smoke them out? I find that they last all day. They do come in glass jars. I can get over the stickers. I can even get over the kind of alcohol-y smell that they have to them. I just feel like they're a beautiful formula. So for me, these are a definite purchase. I really enjoy having those in my collection. The next one that I have is from Ofra. It's the Spark Lights Topper in the shade Glisten. I bought this because the pictures of this looked really pretty. I wasn't sure what to expect once I swatched it. It was kind of light, it's kind of chunky. It's mostly a pretty intense glitter, but it actually is very pretty on the eyes. I was wearing this like just by itself and with some colorful liner, and it was really pretty. I think I wore this on Christmas too. I don't know, I ended up liking it more than I thought I would, but it's basically just a silver sparkle, right? Like no real base. I still think it's really pretty, and I think about reaching for this if I'm gonna do like a simple sparkly look again with kind of just a colorful liner. The next one I have is another one I got in the advent calendar from Kiko Milano. It's the High Pigment Eyeshadow in the shade 30. It's just a matte, but it's beautiful. Kiko just has a way of really doing this super soft satin formula. It's really opaque. It's really good pigmentation. It blends out beautifully. I would say this is kind of like your perfect mauve shade. So I was using this in the crease and all over when I was testing a lot of these single kind of more sparkly eyeshadows. So I think it's pretty. I'm not really somebody to use mattes as singles very often, so this is kind of makeup graveyard, but I love the formula so much. Again, like if I'm thinking about some of these other shadows that I might wear, like throwing this in the crease would be great. So I could just like bring this and, you know, like one liquid or something like that. So for that reason, it's nice. And then I picked this up during the Macy's sale, I think in December. This is the Shiseido Pop Powder Gel Eyeshadow in Zuku Zuku Brown. This is a gorgeous formula. Like it says, it's this cross between a powder and a gel. It has a really smooth texture. It locks down though. There's no texture on the lids. It's good opacity. The color is just gorgeous. Like it's a beautiful formula. It doesn't add any texture to the lids. So beautiful. The next one that I have is from Stila. It's the eyeshadow in Kitten. This was an absolute waste. It does have kind of a pink sheen to it, but not as pink as my highlighter in Kitten. It's mostly this like champagne color, and it's $20. and it's basically a soft kind of shimmery shadow that you can get in normal kind of drugstore palettes. And this thing retailed for $20. So this is a hot pass for me. This doesn't add anything extra. It's pretty, it has sheen to it with no glitters, but yeah, no, for 20 bucks. Let me talk about the next one. The next one is so similar and it's from the drugstore. This is the Soft Touch eyeshadow from Essence in Champagne. Pretty similar formula, gives a good sheen with no sparkles. It kind of does what the Stila does, and this one retails for I think $3.99. So I don't understand what the purpose of Stila making that was, other than like they don't specialize in shadows. I've never tried a Stila palette before, but I do believe that they have them. Anyway, get this if you like that, but neither of them have a real purpose. I just wanted to test different formulas. This one from Essence is nice, it's good, but again, I have this in like drugstore palettes, so there's no real reason for me to have bought it for $3.99 individually. The next one that I have is the, oh my gosh, I already forgot the name of this, Glitter Puck in Dopamine Sparkle from Half Magic. I think Dopamine Sparkle is the only shade that this comes in. It's a nice big glass jar. This is for face, eyes, body. It's a really interesting formula. It's really wet and it's really squishy. So I wasn't sure I was gonna like it because the minute I swatched it, I was like, oh, this is not at all kind of what I thought it was gonna be. It's like really squishy. The formula has dried out just a little bit. I've been using this on the eyes, not the body. I do think it's really pretty, not a super intense base. It's more like a wet base with dry glitter. That's what it feels like those two formulas just kind of mashed together here. It's really pretty on the eyes. It gives a much more intense wet effect than it does, I think, when you swatch it. Like once you get it to the eyes, you can see just how wet it looks. And I think it's really pretty, but I don't know if I'm a fan of the texture. Like getting my finger in there to swatch it sometimes is kind of, ooh. But I love the effect of this. I'm just kind of on the fence of whether or not this is gonna be something that I just find super convenient and wanna reach for, because I have some that are similar that are just not like this wet, I guess. The next one that I have is also from Half Magic. This is one of her singles. Yeah, eyeshadow singles in Carrot Queen. I bought this and was like, oh, this is kind of just a, you know, it's like a simple, soft metallic formula. And I thought this was kind of pricey for what it is. But once you get this Carrot Queen color to the eyes, it's gorgeous. It's super intense, nice and opaque. I loved the looks that I was creating with this. So once it gets to the eyes, it's absolutely beautiful. And I thought about reaching for this again and again. Like once I got in my mind the effect that it really gave on the eyes. Do I think it's a formula that you can't get in other palettes? No, absolutely not. But I think there's just something about this shade that's absolutely stunning. It's a really soft formula. It doesn't add additional texture to the lids, so that's also nice. I have two singles from MAC. This first one is the Discotheque Dazzle Shadow Extreme. They do have a ton of single formulas. I happen to be a big fan of this one. It's, again, very soft, doesn't add texture to the lids, but it's super highly metallic with no glitters to it, just a ton of sheen. It's like medium weight though. It's not like a super thin formula. So this one, super beautiful. Love this shade too. But the next one that I have was part of a holiday collection. This is the Sparkler eyeshadow in Zero Chill. It's really soft. It's like a bouncy formula, but there's not a lot to it. Not a strong base, not super intensely pigmented. It's kind of like a pretty sheer topper, and MAC, as you know, is not super inexpensive. I think this was a huge pass. This was a waste of my money. I didn't enjoy like really using it just because it was so sheer for what it was. I just feel like every time I spend, you know, a decent amount of money on something, I kind of want it to be intense, and this just wasn't for me, so that's a pass. I have one of the L'Oreal Color Riches in Pain et Chocolat. This is like the Shiseido one, but creamier. This feels like a cream. I'm not sure that it is a cream shadow. I thought it was a powder, but this feels intensely like cream, but it's still very lightweight and it's still very smooth on the skin. This one is like this pinky hue to it. This is so gorgeous. These L'Oreal Color Riches are absolutely stunning. I thought about getting more shades in this, and I have to stop myself every time I'm in the drugstore because I really enjoy this formula. Again, it's kind of like a cream, but super lightweight that doesn't add texture, pretty affordable. I have another one from L'Oreal, and I don't know what these are called because I always say this has like a sticker from CVS on it. Can't even tell you what shade this is in. It's just like the champagne shade. This one feels like fully powder, but again, it's super lightweight. It applies in like one swipe, sheen to it. and shine to it without being sparkly or glittery. Really, really nice. And I love that it has like a pretty big opening so I can get my finger in there. I think it's best applied with the finger though. I don't find it picks up super well with a brush with this one because it's just more of a powdery texture and it doesn't like stick to a flat brush like this. I haven't sprayed it. I find it easy enough to get my finger into that hole, and that's how I really like to applied to the eyes. Anyway, let's move on. The next one that I have is from Ritual Defee. This is one of the Ash and Ember eye sets in the shade Fauna. It's got a glass bottom. I really like this formula. Again, this is a very smooth, slightly sheeny product. Not intensely sheeny, honestly, but it could be the shade that I have. Soft, again, it doesn't add texture. I just want to say, someone please send them a note. Even though they've updated this packaging and they've made this hole bigger, I still can't get my fat fingers into it. And so every single time I try and apply this, I inevitably dig my fingernail in. I want to show you guys, like this is my finger and I'm like trying to get it in there. And because it's so far down in the jar, I can't get my whole finger like flat into it. And so I inevitably dig my nail into it. You guys who have smaller fingers, you might like this bigger opening. It's just not big enough for me personally. I just realized this Ritual Defee has a sticker on it. And I'm over here talking crap about Pat McGrath's, but Ritual's got it as well. Anyway, the formula is really nice. I find it super non-practical for me to apply all the time because again, I don't think it picks up super well in a brush and I have such a hard time getting my finger in. So I make a mess. Like I'm over here literally applying it, just getting it kind of all over the table in front of me. And when you're getting ready, that's not really what you want. So I wish the hole was bigger. I wish the packaging was different, but I love the formula. The next one that I have is an eye topper. It's a liquid eye topper from e.l.f. Writing is so freaking small on here. Bling bling, that's what it's in. I like this. These glitters put together really compactly. They're just bigger. They're a thicker sparkle. So you have to like that. And I think for what it is, it's very nice. e.l.f. tends to be a more liquidy formula, not necessarily on the dry side. So sometimes I have to be patient to let it dry down because it can transfer. In this particular case, because it's just a glitter topper, it really doesn't matter. But I have had that issue with the other liquid shadows from e.l.f. I really like this if I'm looking for a bigger, thicker sparkle. But if you guys don't, there are other formulas with thinner sparkles that I'm going to talk about in just a second. Otherwise, I think this is like $3. And so for that reason, it is nice. It does look really nice on the eyes. Let's talk about some formulas that have much more refined glitters in them. The first one is from Half Magic. This is the Chrome Addiction Eye Paint and Liner in ASMR. This one, it took me a while to warm up to. I don't think I loved the shade. I think that's kind of what it was. Again, it has really refined glitters, but the shade is a little bit different. It's kind of like this greenish brownie base, but it has multi-dimensional sparkles that I really like the way they translate to the lid. They just look really pretty. I think adding multicolored sparkles adds dimension to the lid when it actually gets to your eyes and is quite noticeable. It is really pretty. It's a little bit of a drier formula. Again, much more refined glitters. So really nice glitter shadow if you like glitter shadows. I think though my favorite are probably the ones from Stila. I know these are old school. The Glitter and Glows, I just feel like they're a drier formula. They're still really refined. They have a nice base to them and the shades are all just really flattering. I think a lot of people have pointed out the fact that these don't last that long. They tend to dry out, but I think that's the benefit and the downfall of them is that they're a drier formula, so they tend to be a little bit easier to work with actually in application, but they just don't last that long. I love the Glitter and Glows though. So I have the smaller one in Kitten Karma. I have the bigger one in Diamond Dust. You guys, I swatched these backwards. I ended up doing the next one like with this little one. And by the way, this one in Kitten Karma is my absolute favorite. I got this free with purchase at the counter at Ulta. That's why they gave me this little mini. But I just love the Glitter and Glow so much more. I think the base is just right and the sparkles are just right and the formula is super easy to work with. I also like the Glisten and Glow formula from Stila. This one is in Kitten Kaleidoscope. I really enjoy this shade. I just prefer the Glitter and Glow a little bit more because the glitters just add a level of intensity on the eyes that the Glisten and Glow doesn't. But again, I still really like how like dry and easy the formula is to work with. And then the last liquid shadow that I have is from Winky Lux. It's the Chandelier Shimmer Shadow. This one is in the shade Bottle Top. This is super beautiful on. It has an intense sheen to it. It's very, very shimmery without having sparkles or any glitters in it, but it's thicker. It's the thickest formula I probably have in my collection when it comes to like liquid shimmer shadows. And so it does add texture to the lid. Otherwise, you guys, it is absolutely beautiful. If you don't like that texture though, I think it's a pass because you really can't get away from the added texture that it gives. I just don't think there's a way to like thin out the formula to get it to your eyes in any way. The next one that I have is a trio from Kaja. This is one of their beauty bentos, and this one is the Color Story Color Sunrise. This one's a little different than some of the trios that I've had in the past. This one has one of these like chunky shimmers on the top, and then it has a softer shimmer in the middle and then a sparkly matte on the bottom. And I just declared one of my other trios, so I picked this one up during the Macy's sale as well, and I thought I was gonna love this. But this one at the top is a chunky hot mess. I do not like the way that it applies. It has a ton of stickiness to it, so it kind of grips the lid wherever you place it, and I just can't rub it in nicely. It kind of drags. I don't like the way that it looked, especially on its own. I ended up just putting this corally one that has really refined glitters and sparkles in it on top of it, and it looked really nice. I could have done without this chunky thing at the top. The matte is a really nice formula, and I feel like those little sparkles actually do translate, whereas some of the ones that I have that have little sparkles that come from ColourPop don't show up at all, but I feel like these showed up at least a little bit. But yeah, overall, really good quality except for this. I don't like this chunky weird thing at the top. And then I have some shadow sticks from Sephora. These are called the Colorful Shadow Stick and Liners, and they do have sharpeners on them, so they're meant to be used as both, and you can use the sharpeners to point them out if you want to use the tips. The more taupey shade is in Fawn Shimmer, and then the purple one is in the shade Iris Shimmer. So both of these have shimmer, but I do believe they have mattes in their line. These are waterproof. I don't like these as liners, quite frankly. And I really like the Fawn Shimmer. It's very beautiful. It doesn't add too much texture on the lid, but for whatever reason, the purple one in Iris Shimmer seems to get a little bit patchy when I try and blend it out. So I am yes and no on this. I don't know why the shades sometimes are a little bit different, but that sometimes is in pigmentation too. So didn't love the purple, do love this one. So I'll probably end up decluttering the purple one just because it really is patchy, and I don't have a need for a liner, like a cream liner in purple. And I finally tested the Bobbi Brown shadow sticks for the very first time. I got a mini set, again, kind of Christmas time. This is a long wear shadow stick, and I have two shades. The more champagne-y pink, I guess, is in Golden Pink, and then the other one is Dusty Mauve. These are both very muted shades. It's a really sophisticated, just elevated formula. These ones in the Laura Mercier Caviar sticks are very popular for a reason. They just perform really well. They go on super easily. They're a pretty long-lasting formula, but they're also incredibly easy to blend out, and they don't get patchy or anything like that. So these in the Laura Mercier Caviar sticks are among my favorite. The only other shadow stick that I love as much as these ones are the ones from ColourPop. I have tried a bunch at this point, and those are really my top three. And then I got some PR from a brand called Luxaza. I have talked about their shadow sticks on my channel before, and this is supposed to have been a reformulated version. So they sent these to me, and I have one shade that's basically like this blue charcoal in M006, and then the fully black one is S005. These are the kind that come with something on the end so that you can buff these out. Their original formulation had actual brushes, like synthetic hair brushes, where these have a foam smudger on the end. And so I was using these kind of as liners because I don't think they're great shadow sticks without a brush. I can use my own, but these are not colors that I would use all over. I love these to smoke out, and I think they look beautiful smoked out, but they are not my preferred formula. I actually prefer their other formula before this reformulation more because they were creamier than these. They're not bad, and if you're looking for something on the go, I think their other sets that come with the brushes that you can find on Amazon are really, really nice, especially for travel. I have two liners here from Pixi. These are the Endless Silky Eye Pens. They did just come out with a shade extension in this line, but I picked up two of the older and lighter shades. So the purpley one or lilac-y one is in Brightening Lilac, and then the gold one is in Pure 24K. These are terrible. These were absolute waste of money. I want to say these probably retailed for like $12.99, but they don't even go into the waterline like at all. They don't want to stay there. They're not intense. They don't grip. They just slip right out. They're a hot mess. These are not good at all. And when I was trying to use them on my lid, wouldn't even show up. They're honestly too light. These are going to be decluttered at some point. Then I have a precision eyeliner from Kiko Milano, and I also got this in the advent calendar. I'm not a huge fan of this. Don't really love this wand style either, but I can get over it. It's nice, like, and matte, but it's not super opaque. It definitely doesn't lay down super easily. I have other liners that just lay down intense pigmentation with one swipe across the eyes. I was building and building with this particular one. I don't find this super easy to build a wing with either with this kind of tip. It didn't last the longest on my eyes either. Bunch of other eyeliners on the market, even drugstore, that I just found were better than this one. So that one for me is a pass. One that I really did like from Kiko Milano was the Intense Color Long Lasting Eyeliner. This almost stains. It locks down like almost a liquid would. This is in the shade 16. That's it. Doesn't say anything else. This one does come with a smudger on one end, and I was using this. I do think the smudger is nice, but I feel like a brush is better. This is a tuggy one, you know, one of those like sponge style. So it's okay. It's just the liner itself was really, really good. It's like a cream sharpenable kind, but it has, again, really intense pigmentation, and this thing lasted like all day. So that is a purchase for me. And I have two liquid eyeliners. These are the BFF liquid liners from ColourPop, two different shades. So the turquoise one is the Hills, the pink one is in Ducky. I have equated these to like high-end liners, and someone was like, really, you think these are high-end liners? Like, yeah, if you're watching, I do. I really do. Hopefully they didn't mean to be facetious and kind of nasty in my comment, but you never know. I think these are some of the best liners I've ever tried. They're intensely opaque. They lay down on the very first swipe. They have a really precise tip, and they last all day. I don't know what else you need to do to be absolutely perfect liquid eyeliners, in my opinion. These are amazing. I'd pick up every shade. Let's move on to base products. I have three different foundations and one bronzing serum. So the bronzing serum is a new release from Physicians Formula from their 2024 collection. This is the Butter Glow Bronzing Serum, and it doesn't come in any shade. It's just one shade. It smells like coconut. It's a really nice formula. It's not overly liquidy. It has a little bit of shimmer in it. It mixes really well into the foundation without changing it too much. It doesn't make it too dark. It just gives it this really healthy glow. I feel like it does sheer out the foundation a bit though. I think it's really pretty. It's probably gotta be one of my favorite bronzing shimmers that I have right now. I probably have two other ones, but I like this formula a little bit more. It just doesn't separate, and it's not too liquidy. It's like the perfect consistency. And along that same launch, they came out with a Diamond Perfector Mineral Wear BB Cream, and this one is in the shade Fair to Light. That is it. The shade range in this is absolutely terrible. I feel like there's like one dark shade or like 0 dark shades. So not a good shade range. It does have a little bit of shimmer to it. I feel like when I was doing my video, there was a comment where someone asked me like, does it have shimmer in it? And I'm like, no, I didn't see any. But I did just swatch it for you guys in this cutaway, and I can see little tiny sparkles or like shimmers in it. It just doesn't translate to the skin. I don't personally see it. I have done a full wear test with this. I have gone out in natural light. I have done check-ins right after application. I've done check-ins at the 4-hour mark in natural light, and I never noticed it on my face. This is a super beautiful skin-like light coverage BB cream. It doesn't have any SPF in it. It's not mattifying, it's not long wearing. It's just kind of a natural looking BB cream. It's quite nice. I enjoy it. Another one I am thoroughly enjoying, you guys, is the Performer from About Face. This is her first foundation launch in her line. It's light to medium, like buildable coverage. Doesn't do anything super fancy. I also did a wear test on this on my channel. It doesn't smooth out the texture on my face. It doesn't last super long, but it fades beautifully. So it looks really natural when you first put it on. It fades nicely. It's just pretty. It really is just kind of like the middle of the road. And if you have dry skin, I think this is a beautiful, beautiful foundation. Last foundation, I tried the Guerlain Healthy Glow Natural Perfection Foundation. I think this won Best of Beauty for 2023. And then also they teased us with the release of the concealer that matches this. So I wanted to try the foundation. So I did pick this up recently. I don't need to be adding more to my collection because I need to do a foundation declutter. I have been retesting all my foundations, but I picked it up nonetheless, you guys. I have mine in the shade 0.5N. I didn't like this. I didn't like this at all. I do think that it gives a healthy glow, but it grabs every bit of dry patch on my face It wants to add texture where I didn't even know I had texture. Don't like the way this looks and don't think it lasts very long. For me personally, I just didn't think this was very nice or natural in any ways. I don't know, I probably will end up decluttering this. It did not look good on me. The other two that I just went over last longer than this one, so I don't know, I'm not a fan. I'm sorry if you guys are, it did not work for my skin type, I guess. Let's move on into color correctors and then concealers. So I picked up two what they call Pro Fix Sticks. They're correcting concealers from NYX. These were new releases. I haven't tested the other one, but I did do this one quite a bit because I really enjoyed this formula. This is the shade Pink, so this is supposed to be like an under eye corrector. I enjoy this. This is a really good formula. It does not add too much additional texture or thickness under the under eyes. I've been able to lay concealer on top of it. I get into the inner corner. I actually think it color corrects my darkness under my eyes. Huge fan of this. I will keep you guys updated on the concealer one, but I did do a wear test on that, you guys, and it made my concealers look so thick under my under eyes. So I feel like if I'm gonna recommend this to you, it would be the color correctors, not like the concealer shades of these Pro Fixes. This is also a new release from L'Oreal. It's the True Match Radiant Serum Concealer. I have mine in the shade, oh my gosh, where is it? Light C2. I love the super blendable foundation. I thought they were gonna like pair together. I think this is really pretty. It's very, very light coverage. It's very lightweight too. Love that. I thought it was also going to be the more inexpensive version of the Lancome Serum Concealer. Still love the Lancome one more. This is nice. Again, very lightweight. It's just lighter coverage than the Lancome, which is more medium coverage. And I feel like this isn't even as light as the Lancome and not as blendable as the super blendable foundation. So it's good, I just don't remember it. Like it doesn't stick out in my mind as one that is really great because it's not overly long lasting or perfectly medium coverage. So one that I have absolutely been loving is the one from Laura Mercier. I haven't even tried this on my channel. I just bought it and started testing it. It's the Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Concealer to match the foundation that is now going viral. This is gorgeous, very lightweight, same thing as the foundation. Never looks heavy under my under eyes, but this is pretty light coverage overall. Even with a color corrector, I can still see like some of my darkness, but I do like it if I'm looking for light coverage. The next two I do not like as much. They're both new releases. This one is the Sephora Best Skin Ever Glow Multi-Purpose Concealer. I feel like Sephora stuff all comes out yellow. I have mine in the shade 20. Every one of their base products that I have ever tried has come out slightly yellow, including this one. It's a lightweight formula, but it's too light of a coverage for me. That's pretty much it. Like it doesn't do anything special. It's not super long lasting. The next one that I have is from Fenty. What does she call this? The Wear Even Hydrating Longwear Concealer. I have mine in the shade 150N. I feel like these go super light, so 150N I feel like was my perfect shade match. If I had gone any lighter, I feel like it would have been too light because I still feel like this is on the brightening side for my skin tone. I didn't like this concealer. I hate to say it, but I didn't feel like it was hydrating on me. The biggest thing was it sunk right into my fine lines and emphasized those babies right away. I don't think it was heavy. I think it was a lightweight formula. Like it feels really good going on the under eyes and it blends out nicely. It just really creeped right into those fine lines. So that's a no-no for me. That's all you gotta do. Bye. We are on into the one setting powder that I have. This is the Translucent Loose Setting Powder from Sephora. This is a new release. I really like the way this looks on the skin initially. It's very blurring. It adds a little bit of coverage. It looks a little bit yellow. Like I was saying, all the kind of complexion products that I have from Sephora tend to look a little bit yellow on me, but not too much. It's not bad. But I imagine on someone with a deeper complexion, you could probably tell the yellow undertone a little bit more than you can on my fair skin. It is like a mattifying powder, but it doesn't last long. And it's supposed to absorb oil, reduce shine, extends the wear of makeup for up to 12 hours. No. I get shiny. It's not my most mattifying. I've got ones that I could tell you that those are mattifying. For example, I use powder foundations to mattify all the time. This one from e.l.f., the Camo Powder Foundation, is fantastic. My favorite mattifying, super long lasting powder is the Beauty Bakery Flour Better Not Bitter powder. Amazing. Amazing when I had dry skin, amazing for oily skin. It locks down my makeup and controls my oils for hours. It's like one of the best. So this just doesn't do that for me. It does it for like 2 hours and that's it. It's gone. Bye. So I don't need that powder in my collection. If I wanted something that kind of like worked for a little while, I would just use a finishing powder. I have one brow product, and if you guys watch any of my other videos, you know I am out there just hunting around for different brow products in the pencil category. So this one is from Melt. It's the Perfectionist Brow Ultra Precision Pencil. It's not a super pointed tip. It's a tiny, tiny little diamond shape. I actually really like this. But I will say, this is in the shade Neutral Blonde. Boy, does this lean very red. I always think it's very interesting what companies will say is like a neutral blonde or a taupe shade, and then they come out kind of yellowish or gray leaning. I like this because sometimes I do like a reddish undertone to my brows. I have one from Gucci that kind of does the same thing, and I kind of like that sometimes just to give it more than just a gray color. This is on the drier side, but the formula lasts really long, and it's not so dry that it like tugs on me. So I thought this was a really good formula. But I have other ones that I know are less expensive. This just was on sale at Sephora, so I picked it up. Let's move on into mascaras, you guys. I have 5 different mascaras and 3 of them are new releases. So the first one that I have is the Sephora Love the Tint Mascara. This is meant to be an instant curl and lifting volumizing mascara. I wouldn't say it's overly volumizing, but it gives one of the best curls of any of the mascaras that I currently have in my collection. So for that reason, I really like it. It has a really nice molded plastic bristle wand, so you can get really close to the lash line and just comb it right through. It's a little bit of a tackier formula, so it really does grip the lashes. I would say it gives like a decent amount of pigmentation to it. I just really like the curling that it gives. I don't think it adds a ton of volume. It's mostly the curl that this does, I think, really well. So I've been enjoying this mascara. The next one that I have is from L'Oreal. It's the Panorama Mascara. This is supposed to be voluminous. So it's supposed to give a ton of volume. Again, I love the wand on this. It is the molded plastic bristles, so you can get really close to the lash line. This is an extremely lightweight formula. Unlike the Sephora one that has a little bit of weight to it, this one is super, super lightweight. You can't even feel it on your lashes. And some of you guys really like that, especially if you have finer, thinner lashes. But personally, when it comes to mascara, when I want volume, I want it to have intense pigmentation, be a little bit tackier than this, because when it's a lighter weight formula, I just find that it's more lengthening than it is volumizing. So I feel like this gives a ton of good length, but it doesn't give a ton of good volume. So if you're into something that's more lengthening and very lightweight, I think this is nice. This, again, you can tell how lightweight the formula is just by how airy some of these packages feel. And sometimes it's in the packaging, but other times you can like feel it with the formula. This is just intensely lightweight. Don't think it's overly volumizing, but I think it's a good lengthening lightweight mascara. And then this next one is from Kiko Milano. It's the Maxi Mod Volume and Definition Mascara. Again, something I got in the advent calendar. This is one of the most interesting mascaras I have in my collection because of this wand. It's the smallest little molded plastic bristles. It's very, very short. I thought it would be a little bit gimmicky, but boy, it lets you get like into every inch of your lash. When you want to go inner corner, this is the way to go. This little mascara really gets in there. I just think it's not as intense as I like. The volume is not there. Definition is fine and great. It's a medium weight mascara. It's just not intensely volumizing for my preferences. It's good, it's just not great. The next one that I have is a new release. It's the e.l.f. Lash Extender Mascara. I feel like this is very similar in terms of formula to their Lash and Roll. This one has one of those like Maybelline Sky High bristles, molded plastic, short. Again, you can get really close to your lash line. I feel like this gives good length, you guys, but there is nothing else to it. Extremely lightweight formula. It's not intensely pigmented. If you're looking for just a little bit of length and very lightly pigmented, it's fine. That isn't my personal preference, but I feel like that's gonna be a lot of people's. A lot of people in my comments and a lot of my subscribers say like, oh, I love a really lightweight, lengthening mascara. So I think it's good for that. It's just, it's not good for me. I really like volume. And then this very last one is from Bobbi Brown. This was a free one that I got with the eyeshadow sticks. This is the Smoky Eye Mascara, and it has a natural bristled wand, which I'm usually not a fan of, but this one was so small, could get really close to my lash line and I didn't make a mess. I didn't have high hopes for this mascara. I thought it was going to be kind of a drier formula, lighter weight, wouldn't give a lot of pigmentation, but this is intense. This gives really good pigment for being a drier formula. It is very lightweight, but it gives really good volume. Like for this little itty bitty wand right here, the volume on this is intense. So I will probably purchase the full size of this because I loved this little mini so much. Let's move on into bronzer slash contours. The first one up that I have is a contour wand from Physicians Formula. This is part of their 2024 collection that just launched. It's the Butter Glow Contour Wand in Fair to Light. So they did essentially what Tarte did, is come out with a bronzer and call it a contour. It's not a contour wand, it's a bronzer wand. It has a ton of warmth to it. Physicians Formula does warmth and bronzers great. It's beautiful, super easy to apply. I love the component. I feel like it's good quality, but it is not a contour. It is not a contour. It is a full bronzer wand is what it is. Beautiful formula, long lasting, easy to blend. It's just a bronzer. The next one is also a new release from the drugstore. This is the Cheek Kiss Cream Bronzer in Hey Honey from Milani. I really like this formula. It's on the warmer side. What I didn't like about this is when I read the description of this, it markets itself as having no warmth at all, or something like I have the warmth but no orange, when it's an extremely orange shade. It's a beautiful formula. It's just pretty intensely orange. So much so that it kind of changes the undertone or the tone to the blushes that I lay on top of it. So nice formula, just a little bit more orange than it claims. The next one that I have is another new release from Physicians Formula. It's the Mineral Wear Diamond Bronzer. This is a really nice formula. It's just a super thin formula, so when you pick it up on a really fluffy brush, it buffs into the cheeks really nicely. It does have warmth to it. This one is in the shade Bronze Gem. It's just an extremely, extremely lightweight formula, which is really easy to work with, just good quality. Love the way that it lays on the cheeks, pretty much with any brush or sponge that I've used it with. The next one that I have came from the same line. This is the Butter Glow Bronzer and Blush from Physicians Formula in the shade Healthy Glow. It's fine. It's like swirled together. It's kind of one of those where it's supposed to be like a hybrid product. I think it's probably better than some of my other hybrid products. For example, there's one from Jouer that's called like Ménage à Trois. It's supposed to be like a blush, a bronzer, and a highlighter that came out last year. They're doing that in other products from other brands. This one's nice because it's just mixed with like neutral, warmth, pink, kind of a champagne-y highlighter shade in here. So I like the way this looks all over. I feel like this is good in a rush. Kind of what I was doing, like just sweeping on the cheeks and just moving on, just using one product for the entire cheeks. And for that reason, it was kind of nice. I don't always think to do that though, but I could see myself grabbing for this in the times where I am in a bit of a rush. And for that reason, it's nice. So if you guys like those products that like act as one, or you just like the more simple makeup application, I think that is nice. And I have seen that in like my local CVS now. I feel like that collection has moved into the stores. The next one I have is a cream contour from Danessa Myricks. It literally says nowhere on here, but I know she has a cream bronzer, and so that's not this one. I accidentally got the shade Light 2 and I thought, oh no, I should just return it. But then I thought, did I do Light 2 on purpose? Because I was looking online and Light 1 just looked too gray. I don't know what I was thinking. I might have done it on accident and I might have done it on purpose. I don't even always remember. But it's actually not too bad. I can use this shade. I think the shade range in this line is actually decent and there's quite a few shades in it. Anyway, really easy formula. Has warmth to it though. It is a little bit deep in Light 2, but blends out beautifully. I can totally get away with this product, and I love most of what Danessa releases. So, and the next product that I have is a new release from Sephora. It's the Colorful Contour Powder in 01 Fair to Light. I did not like this. I have had one person in my comments say like, oh my gosh, I love this contour. And that's fine. That's good for you guys. For me, it's a little bit too gray leaning. I think contours are just like on that trapeze where you have to do gray with brown pigment like perfectly, especially when you're dealing with people with fair skin, because too gray leaning of a contour, I feel like can look dusty and just dirty on the cheeks. And that's how it looked for me. And I had one of you also say that that's how it looked. By the time I got into natural light, I was like, this looks absolutely awful. And I was like trying to brush it off basically. So if this is your kind of shade, that's fantastic. For me personally, my preferences and my skin tone, I did not like it. That will end up being decluttered. Let's move on into blush, you guys. I really don't have that many this month. I feel proud. A little bit proud of myself. So the first one that I have is from Ami Collet. This is the Desert Date Cream Multi-Stick in the shade Dune. This is a nice cream to powder formula, super easy to blend on. I love this shade in Dune. It's kind of like a dusty mauve, so it has a little bit of pink, but a little bit of warmth to it. Super easy formula, easy to pick up on a brush, easy to lay down. It lasts a decent amount of time because it's that cream to powder formula, so it kind of locks down on the cheeks. This is just like your straightforward cream to powder formula. The next one that I have also came in that advent calendar from Kiko Milano. This is called their Unlimited Blush in 06. So I feel like they came out with a collection called Unlimited, and that's what they started calling a lot of these products, was Unlimited Stylo, Unlimited Blush. So this one was in 06. I don't know how many shades came in the Unlimited Blush, and I'm pretty sure these still are available for sale. The way Kiko does their powder products is something else. It's like satin, it's like water. These are so soft and lightweight and airbrush looking on the skin that even though it seems kind of like a boring, straightforward formula, give me boring and give me straightforward. This is a beautiful mauve shade. I love this. This next one is a new release from Natasha Denona. This is the My Mini Dream Glow Blush. It can be swirled all together because it's got these like 3 shades in here. If you have the patience, you could use each of these shades individually because they do swatch very different. I have been using this highlighting shade as a highlighter, and these 2 shades here, just been swirling them together as blush. The only thing is with this, even though it's a beautiful, really simple powder formula, I find that when I swirl these 2 shades together, where I think I'm gonna get this mauve tone, I end up getting a pretty warm blush on my cheeks. I think something about swirling these together just gives me a little bit more warmth. Really nice formula, would be something great for travel. I just wish it was a cooler tone on my skin. Then the next one that I have, I'm sure I've talked about this on my channel before because I have another one of these in my collection, but I'm not sure I've ever done like a speed reviews on the formula, so I thought I would because I picked up a different shade. This is the Playdate Multi-Use Cheek and Lip Color. By the way, both of these, the Ami Collet and the one from AF94, are both like multi-use. I've not tried them on my lips and I don't plan to really. This one is in the shade First Prize. All of these have like tiny little sheeny sparkles. I have another one that's like in purple. This is a very emollient formula. It almost feels like a silicone kind of. See how it just has like this sheen in it? But I think it's due to like the little bit of sparkles that it has in it. Anyway, I just think this is a beautiful product. I think it goes on super easily and I love the shade ranges that she has in those. Next new releases are the Camo Liquid Blushes from e.l.f. I'm on the fence about these. There's something just off about them and I don't think it's the shades. I'm not a fan of either of these shades. The more pinky one is in Coming in Hot Pink and then the other one is in Dusty Rose. I think this one just ended up being a little bit too intense for me just because of the pigmentation. And then the one in Dusty Rose is described, and I did not see this on the website when I was buying it, as like having a warm undertone, and it's just too warm. I was hoping it was like a little bit of a cooler pink shade. They're a little bit of a tackier formula. They have good longevity to them. I don't think they blend out like super easily for me, and I think the biggest thing I wish these had, even though if you look up close, they have like a little bit of sheen to them. There's like a little bit of like, not glitters, but just sheen, but they don't really translate to the cheeks. And so they're not as sheeny as I would like. Some of the ones that have a little bit more sheen to them that are in these like liquid styles, I feel like add more dimension to the cheeks. The madder that they get, the more flat and one-dimensional they look on the cheeks and not super flattering. So I feel like these are close, but I feel like the Moira ones and the Juvia's Place ones don't look quite as flat on the cheeks as these ones do. So I think they're gaining traction and I think they're affordable and pretty nice. And if you don't mind the way that these look on the cheeks, I think they perform well. But I think my favorite formula of the ones that I tried this month was the Mineral Wear Cheek and Lip Color Diamond Filler from Physicians Formula, part of the same collection. Cute packaging. These just are a thinner formula, less sticky. They have more sheen to them though. They're just more glossy of a finish on the cheeks and I just really enjoy that. An easier formula to blend in and they don't look quite as patchy. And I want to mention this pink one, the Coming in Hot Pink, like almost stains the cheeks. That other one in Dusty Rose doesn't really stain. Like it even stains on the swatch in that hot pink one. Let's move on into highlighters. So the first one that I have is from Makeup Revolution. It's the Diamond Glow highlighter. I guess that's a shade, but it doesn't really have a name to it. I think they were coming for Rare Beauty with this one because it's in that same style dome. It's a powdery formula though, way powdery than the one from Rare Beauty. It's really intense. It looks really good on the cheeks once it has time to kind of sink in, but when you're first applying it, it kind of looks like it's sitting on top of the skin. But the more that I wear it and it warms up to my skin, it looks really nice. It is very intense. It is very icy in this particular shade. I think that I'm like hot and cold. I can get this intensity and I can get the same finish from other highlighters without it being powdery and taking a while to sink into the skin. I just don't think it's terrible. Some more new releases from Sephora. These are the Colorful Luminizers, Iced Pearl and Rose Quartz. Now, if you could believe it, this is a pink shifty highlighter, so it looks really pink on the cheeks. And the Rose Quartz is the one that I put on that looks more champagne. I really enjoy these. Of the Sephora collection stuff that launched, these are my favorite. These look really natural on the skin, and like from a distance, it just makes your cheeks look wet. Really nice formula. Packaging is a little bit cheap, but price point is pretty good. Overall, the Rose Quartz, my favorite. I could pass on the Ice Pearl. This is probably a shade I would end up decluttering because it's just kind of a multi-dimensional kind of shifty highlighter. The next one that I have is from Pixi. It's the Hello Kitty highlighter it's the Hello Glowy powder in Sweet Glow. I don't know what I was expecting. Like, it's nice, it's thin, it's kind of, again, a pink shifty one. Not a fan of the shade. The worst part is that when you're shopping in the drugstore and it's a box and you cannot see what the shade is. So that sucks when you get it back and you're like, oh, this is pink. You know, I wouldn't have known by Sweet Glow, and there's not a real description on the back of the box when you buy it. So I'll probably end up decluttering this one too. It's just not really my shade preference. And Ulta has some new releases. Boy, did they. You guys, I have a video out testing some of their new releases from a new like vacation collection. It's all pretty much bad except this. This one's decent. This is the Golden Hour liquid highlighter. I'm pretty sure they're duping the Iconic London on the same roller ball. It's a nice formula. It melts into the skin, pretty intense. The worst part about this is that this roller ball like doesn't work really well. Like the formula doesn't come to the roller ball. You really have to like shake it. And it's pretty much every single time I use it. Once I get it to the roller ball and it comes out, it's nice, but my Iconic London one is better than this. Okay, we are on into the final category, you guys. This is everything lips. Quite a few lip products, I told you guys, maybe just under eye products. So the first one that I have is from MAC. This is the Prep and Prime lip primer, I guess is what it is. It's just clear. It's meant to prep and prime your lips. I was using this when I was putting it under a very matte lipstick, one that kind of tended to be on maybe the drier side, one that emphasized my lip lines a little bit more. I thought it was okay. I don't really know what the purpose of this is other than how I was using it. And for that, it was okay, but I don't know if it was necessary. I have a bunch of new Kiko Milano lip products because they came in the advent calendar, a ton of different formulas, basically like 4 or 5 different finishes, which was kind of nice. And they threw in the Everlasting Color Precision Lip Liner. This one has a pointed tip. It does have a sharpener on it. It does have a smudger on the other end. It is very creamy, but this is one of the most longest lasting lip liners that I have. It also like stains when I swatch it. It stains my lips. This is amazing. It's like a blue-red, beautiful, beautiful lip liner. Highly enjoyed that. And what I was doing was pairing it with one of the lip stylos that came in the advent calendar. This one is the Unlimited Stylo. So again, from that same Unlimited collection in the shade 17. It's more of a matte formula, but it matches the lip liner perfectly. So I liked that they threw in a lip liner that matched a lipstick that they had. Again, this is a really nice blue-red, intensely opaque, really good pigmentation. It's kind of like a powdery finish, so it's not like intensely matte. It doesn't have a huge shine to it, kind of a powdery finish or a satin finish, if you will. Good longevity. Kiko Milano does amazing lip products, so I can't understate like how good I think they perform and how much I like them. I have one of the Fat Slick Click oils from NYX. I don't know in what order it goes. Slick Click Fat Oil, Shiny Lip Balm. I mean, there's like 5 names NYX has given it. This one is in That's Major. It's like basically a mauve shade. You can't underestimate the thickness of this. It's very goopy, but it's nice and high shine. I like it though. I mean, they're basically just duping Tarte in this case, and they did a really good job in the dupe, I think. Maybe even more pigmented. And then I picked up the Maracuja Juicy Lip Plump. This is the shimmery finish. This is also a fairly new release. This one is called Rosy Mauve Shimmer Glass. Also thick. The shimmers are very, very fine. They're very beautiful on the lips too, but yeah, it's a really sticky formula. It's almost like these glitters or shimmers in here are like purple against a mauve, and it still has that very like cooling plump to it too, so it's nice. Then I picked up one from MAC, one of the Squirting Plump Gloss Stick. This one is in Heat Sensor. It's a little bit of an orange shade. I think this is nourishing. It doesn't last super long though. It has a nice gloss to it, and I don't think it's overly thick, and it's also not sticky. I love the high shine though. It is really pretty, it just doesn't last super long. Another new one from NYX, this is the Duck Plump. I guess that's all it's called, the Duck Plump. Oh, High Pigment Plumping Gloss. This one is in the shade Strike a Rose. This one is so intense. This is like rubbing a jalapeno on you. It does say extreme sensation. It is very, very hot, you guys. It's not a cooling plumping. It basically feels like it's burning my lips off. So if you like that, it's great. What I do like about this is that the pigmentation on this is really opaque. It's nice. It's very high shine. I feel like this is the formula that should have been in the oils, the Fat Drip lip oils that came out last year, because this is like a smoother, lighter weight, less sticky version. And I feel like that would have been nice if it had this kind of pigmentation and this kind of formula in those lip oils. So those lip oils were a little bit thick and a little bit sticky. So the formula on this is nice. It's just, this is intense, you guys. I don't even know why I got this. I guess just to try it, but it is hot. So not for me. Picked this up from a Macy's sale too. This is the Clarins Lip Comfort Oil in the shimmer finish. It's called the Sparkling Oil in Pretty in Pink. It's like purple-ish, bluish sparkles in pink, really pretty. Not as thick of a formula as their other comfort lip oils. This is nice though. I love me a little bit of a shimmery gloss. Can't go wrong with that. I'm very late to the game on this. This is the Lawless Forget the Filler. I've been meaning to try this for like 2 years, but I haven't. The Lip Plumping Line Smoothing Gloss. It's very sticky. I wasn't expecting that. A lot of people like this. Is a very popular product. No, it's not sticky. It's just thick. It's very goopy. And I was not expecting that at all. And maybe people like it because it's a little bit longer lasting, but it's on the thicker side. This one is in the shade Velvet, by the way. I didn't think I said that. So overall, I really like the muted pigmentation on this. I like the shade. I like how long it lasts. But yeah, it's a little bit thicker. And then someone recommended this to me as like a really nice lipstick to try that's like shimmery. This is the Oma Beauty Black Magic lipstick in the shade Savage. You guys, this is freaking gorgeous. Mine has already been broken because my son came up here and decided he wanted to put this on. He didn't close it all the way, shoved the cap right back on it, and I was like, no! So my top is kind of gone, but this is like a gold overspray. Gold doesn't really translate into any of the color or the pigmentation. It is such a high shine, glossy, delicious looking shade too. This one in Savage is gorgeous. I thought it was gonna be a little bit too coral, but it's this like punchy orange shade that looks so good on the lips. My swatch understates how beautiful this is on 100%. So this is beautiful. If you guys are like into kind of shimmery or very colorful lipsticks, bullet lipsticks, shiny lip, whatever, this is gorgeous. I would recommend checking it out if you guys like different lip products. Another new release, you guys, this is the Butter Tinted Lip Conditioner from Physicians Formula. This is gorgeous. It feels like a non-sticky gloss. I have mine in the shade Pink Paradise. Decent pigmentation. Also really love this shade. The only question I have on this particular product is what the heck were they thinking with this particular applicator? You guys, look how much shorter it is than the product itself. I hope you guys can see this. Like, what are you supposed to do when all that's left is down here? I mean, I suppose it's good that they made this flat so you can stand it up like this so some of the product can come down, but you know, it may not work that way. So yeah, this is just much too short for like the actual component itself. It doesn't even go like all the way in. So that's my only like, what the hell? Packaging is like this hard plastic. I don't know. It's kind of cool. It might not store super well. It was a little bit gimmicky, but the formula is great. And speaking of shimmery lip products, Kiko Milano takes the cake. I gotta tell you, this is one of their 3D Hydro lip glosses in the shade 017. This is a pink sparkly lip gloss. I absolutely love this. The glitters are again like the purple champagne mixture together inside of this pink gloss. I wish the shine was a little bit longer lasting. I feel like it fades off. This is a little bit of a stickier, thicker formula, but I love the sparkles throughout, so huge fan. Another little one from Kiko Milano. This one is pretty much unmarked. This is their Holiday Premiere Mini Powder Lipstick. So the Holiday Premiere, oh, there's the logo, was from their advent calendar. So they also came out with a collection called Holiday Premiere. This is a powder formula, so very similar to the MAC Powder Kiss. I kind of like powder finishes when it comes to mattes because I feel like it's the best of both worlds. You get kind of a longer lasting formula and pretty decent pigmentation, and it's sort of matte-ish, but like the powder in it gives it a little bit more creaminess, and so it's not drying on the lips. Thoroughly enjoy Kiko Milano's lip products. And then they threw in this formula, which is the Hydra Shiny Lip Stylo in 05. This is extremely intense pigmentation, super opaque, high shine, but this color, it locks down. This just grabs your lips with intense pigment. So it's a super long lasting formula. I enjoy this one also. And then the very last lip product I have from Kiko Milano is the Holiday Premiere Crystal Lip Balm. They make some amazing, really shimmery lip balms and lipsticks. This one is just super clear, but it has these adorable pink and like blue sparkles in it in this like quilted pattern. It's beautiful. It doesn't translate to the lips or anything. It's kind of a stiffer balm, but it's kind of nice to look at. This might be something that I end up giving to my daughter, but they do make lipsticks that have shimmer in them that actually translate to the lips, and they do it really, really well. So I'm just a big fan of Kiko Milano lip products. Next, I picked up a lip oil from Ami Collet. This one is called Lip Treatment Oil in Romance. I wanted to get one that was like a little bit of a darker shade. This is such a beautiful formula. It's also one of the most unique applicators that I have. It has little ridges in it. I will show you guys a close-up, but also the end of the doe foot is actually slightly movable. I'm pretty sure that's meant to be like that. It has like a little bit of a malleable tip on the end of it. The formula is really long lasting. It's really high shine. The pigmentation is pretty decent. Overall, really, really enjoy this. The applicator too, just like the couple of extra touches make it pretty nice. And then I picked up 3 of the Makeup by Mario Super Satin Lipsticks. I picked up 3 shades in like different color families. I picked up one that is more purple, I picked up one that is a more mauve shade, and then one that is a bluish red. I really like this formula. It's pretty intense pigmentation, very opaque. It is a satin finish, but it has a decent shine to it. It just sticks to your lips in such a way that the pigment lasts on your lips for quite a long time. So decent shine to them. They last for a long time. They're not the most hydrating. They do emphasize my lip lines a little bit, but not so much that I feel like I want to put like a gloss on top of it. So I really enjoy these. By the way, the more mauve shade is in Dumbo. The one that is red is in Tribeca, and then the purplish one is in Forest Hills. And I have to say the purplish one is my favorite. It's just the most unique of the 3, and it looks really flattering on my skin tone. And honestly, this is the kind of shade that ends up making my teeth look whiter. And then I have another new release here from Milani. This is the Color Fetish Hydrating Lip Stain. Really intense lip stain, super thin formula, has a nice shine to it. Once you wipe the shine off, the stain is really nice. This one is in the shade Rose Rising. Really good formula. My swatch stain is still there. Milani just does a really good job in lip products, so I thought that was a good addition to their line. The very last product that I have for today, you guys, is the lipstick from Pound Cake. It's called the Cake Batter. This one is in the shade Red Bead. This is a Black-owned brand. It is, I think, the only thing that she has right now. I'm pretty sure, like on her Instagram, she's only released these, and they are in Ulta. That is where I picked this up, but they also have this on Rita Beauty website. And what she says in her description of these is that red undertones are not all created equal, that some skin tones, different undertones make a big difference. And so she's created basically a red shade with a bunch of different undertones. I don't even remember what the undertone was in Red Bean. I just kind of grabbed this from Ulta, but it's a beautiful formula. It's like a liquid matte, but it's not drying on the lips. This formula lasts me almost all day, very, very close to all day, without breaking down funny, without drying my lips out. This is a really nice formula. If you're into a red, I definitely recommend you checking this out for the different types of undertones. And that was all 78 products that I tested in the month of January. I hope you guys are still hanging on in there. I am completely wiped. I have been filming for so long, but I do hope you guys found this video helpful helpful. I will be listing everything in the description box, including shades, in case I missed it or in case you guys missed it. And if you are interested in anything that I showed here today, you guys, please feel free to use any one of my links below. I do earn a small commission if you do use them. You don't have to, of course, but it does help my channel out. I am out of here for today, you guys, and I hope to catch you all in my next video. Bye, guys.